Skydome in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. ESPN's Friday Night Baseball presents the California Angels and the Toronto Blue Jays. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to ESPN's Friday Night Baseball. I'm John Saunders. We'll get you out to Skydome on the shores of Lake Ontario in just a moment. But first, let's tell you who's pitching tonight. A very hot pitcher for the California Angels. Mark Langston has won 5 consecutive games, including a 5-hitter against the Jays 5 days ago. 5 is magic number as he goes up against David Wells. Wells a loser to Langston, ending a 4-game win streak for him. He's been a hot pitcher for Toronto as well. That's the first half of our doubleheader. Second half, Eric Davis against Darryl Strawberry. Best friends going head-to-head. Cincinnati against Los Angeles. Tom Browning against Bob Ojeda. Browning has allowed 2 earned runs in his last 13 2/3 innings. Some other stories will be following tonight. The Pirates will try and make it 7 consecutive victories. They face the Phillies. They've beaten the Phils 9 straight games dating back to last year. Dwight Gooden up against the Cardinals again. He was rocked by the Cardinals on Saturday, allowing 5 runs and 11 hits in a loss. And Dave Stewart looks for his 2nd win since coming off the disabled list. He allowed just 1 run against the White Sox last time out. He'll meet them again. Speaking of the A's and the White Sox, Dave Henderson hot against Frank Thomas against the Chicago White Sox. Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan will have the call on Sunday Night Baseball. A trade late today. The Padres have sent Gary Templeton, a shortstop, to the New York Mets for utility man Tim Teufel. Templeton, just 31 games this year, hitting below 200. Teufel has been with the Mets since 1986. He gives up about 3 years. Teufel 3 years younger than Templeton. Some other comings and goings here on this Friday night. Detroit has placed outfielder Lloyd Moseby on the 15-day DL. Recalled pitcher Kevin Ritz. Moseby with a pulled hamstring. Pittsburgh's recalled third baseman Jeff King. An option infielder Jeff Richardson. In Seattle's recalled Scott Bankhead. And Eric Hansen with a bad elbow goes on the DL. The Yankees, Dave Island, 15-day DL with a bruised heel. Up next, it's the Angels and the Jays, and we'll be here all night long.
It's a gorgeous night on the shores of Lake Ontario. Welcome to Canada. Tonight, ESPN's Friday Night Baseball comes to you from Skydome as the Blue Jays and the California Angels open up a weekend series. The Jays and the Boston Red Sox, as expected, battling things out at the top of the AL East, but Toronto doing it in different style than in years past. Good evening, I'm Bob Carpenter with Ray Knight, and we know, Ray, that the Red Sox are a station-to-station home run hitting ball club. Jays used to be. How are they doing it this time around?
Well, Bobby, they're basically a National League type ball club. They're doing it with fundamental speed, hit and run. They're sacrifice bunting. You see they're leading the league in doubles and triples. Their pitching staff has just been phenomenal, as everybody expected to be. The bullpen's very strong. The saves lead the American League. Just a very solid ball club. And
they've done it despite missing Kelly Gruber for more than half the season so far with a thumb injury. California Angels, one reason they're not in first place, 1-6 against Oakland, but this is a ball club with a power-packed lineup.
Well, they surely do, and the one thing that they've finally done is added a leadoff hitter, a true leadoff hitter, Luis Polonia. He's hitting .318, stolen 16 bases, played a tremendous left field. Great defense on this ball club, probably the best in the American League. Outstanding offense, speed, great pitching, starting and in the bullpen.
The Angels are third in the American League in hitting. Luis Polonia leads off in left field. Second baseman Luis Sojo to follow, with third baseman Gary Gaetti in the number 3 hole, the former Twin. DH Dave Parker struggling in the number 4 spot. Right fielder Dave Winfield batting 5th, and the ex-Blue Jay, Junior Felix in center field batting 6th. The catcher Lance Parrish, number 7. Donnie Hill in place of Wally Joyner tonight at first base, and the shortstop batting 9th is Dick Schofield.
Pitching tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, David Wells, 6'4", 225-pounder, just 26 years old, from Torrance, California. 9 games, 5-4, 3.25 earned run average.
And we had a similar matchup with Wells taking on Mark Langston last week, and Langston got the better of it with a left-hander on the mound. Pat Borders gets the call behind the plate for the Blue Jays tonight.
And Eddie Sprague at third base, this young rookie, just outstanding offensive player. They eventually may be the catcher. Manny Lee at shortstop. Roberto Alomar, the second baseman. Pat Tabler tonight at first base for John Olerud. Devon White, great center fielder. Tremendous range to right and left center field. Joe Carter in left field, and Kenny Williams in right.
Gorgeous night in Canada, but there are a few thunderheads hanging around. It's 80 degrees with a lot of humidity in the area, slight chance of precipitation, and as has been the case throughout the week here, the Blue Jays have opened the roof during batting practice and played under nice Canadian skies this week. They lost 2 out of 3 to Oakland, and now the Angels come in. California just made a stop in Chicago, and they took 2 out of 3 there. The Angels are a hot ball club. They've won 6 consecutive series and come into the game 6 games over 500. One of the reasons is the work of leadoff man Luis Polonia.
Well, Bobby, you're right. This man, he hits a lot of balls the other way. Very hard to pitch to. Dead fastball hitter. As you see, Wells start him off with a breaking ball. Dave Wells will throw fastball, big curveball, and a changeup. Can be overpowering. 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's the heater up and in, and Polonia gets out of the box in a hurry. 2 balls, no strikes. Wells is a big guy who goes 6'4", 225. Not very good against the Angels last week in Anaheim. Didn't stick around very long. He gets the fastball in, 2-1.
And that's another thing that they've talked about. He's able to throw that fastball to spots. He used to be a macho-type pitcher to try to throw the ball by people, Bobby, and he's developed that big curveball that he'll throw any time in the count.
And Luis Polonia has done very well against left-handers. Look at the consistency.
Well, that's because he stays on the baseball so well and hits the ball so well the opposite way.
He got the breaking ball and pulled it outside first. Al Clark umpiring over there with the foul call. Luis Polonia, before this season, considered purely an offensive player with his contact, slash-type hitting and speed. But the added bonus this year, Ray, he's been playing some pretty good defense out in left field.
Well, I talked to Darren Johnson and Marcel Latchman. Darren Johnson, the hitting coach, Marcel Latchman, the pitching coach, and they just raved about this man. They said they don't know where the defensive deficiency reports came from because he's just done a phenomenal job out there. Charges the ball well, good accurate throwing arm.
Fastball tails inside, count goes full. Polonia with a very good on-base average of 378. And a threat to run if he does get on first. Can he do it with his bat? It's into right center. Williams and Devon White converge. Polonia goes for 2, and it's a leadoff double.
David Wells comes right in with a fastball, which he has to do right down the middle of the plate. But Polonia not trying to pull the ball, short stroke right on top of the ball, just drill the ball right up the middle.
For his 6th double of the year. Sure, he doesn't hit for power, but he also has 5 triples.
Well, they don't have to worry about guys hitting for power in this ball club. Normally, Wally Joyner hits second. Guy that can hit 20, 25 home runs. You have Winfield hit 20, 25. Gaetti 25, 30. Parker 20, 25. So, and let's not forget Lance Parrish, who hit 21 last year.
Former Blue Jay Luis Sojo stepping in. Johnny Ray is in Japan now, so Sojo is the Angels' second baseman. And on a high breaking ball that missed, Pat Borders visits David Wells. You know, Ray, everybody during the offseason was talking about the Toronto-San Diego deal involving Fernandez, McGriff, Carter, and Alomar. That was a pretty big deal that Pat Gillick made with the California Angels as well, that brought Devon White here so that Cito Gaston would have that good defense in center field that he needed. But it also gave the Angels a second baseman that they needed.
Well, you're right. That's one of those trades that's going to help both ball clubs. It certainly helped San Diego, and if Toronto needed anything, it was a center fielder to play defense.
There's the bunt to the right side. Stays fair. Tabler will tag the hitter, and the sacrifice is good as Sojo sacrifices for the 10th time this year. At third base, 1 out, is Luis Polonia as we compare 2 of the principals in that trade.
Well, Junior Felix, they feel, is going to be a tremendous offensive player. He's very aggressive. Defensively, he has that great speed, but he's yet to learn how to get a jump off the bat. Devon White, winner of the Golden Glove year before last, possesses that great speed also, but tremendous instincts in center field.
There's the quick White. It has really solidified things. And there's Junior Felix, who is now a center fielder himself, like he was in the minor leagues.
Well, it's funny to me because they felt that Junior Felix could not play center field here. They played Mookie Wilson out there most of last year, and then he goes to another ball club, and he immediately becomes their center fielder. And you wonder if they emphasize offense more than defense over there, although we mentioned the Angels are leading the American League in defense.
Gary Gaetti is the hitter. And now he's ahead the count, 2-0. Big power hitting third baseman who also fills a defensive need the Angels had from last year when they were not good with the glove at third base at all. 2-0 pitch. Looked like Wells took a little bit off and tailed it down and away from the right-hander.
Well, you can do that with a runner on third base. First base is wide open. It's early in the ball game. You certainly don't want to serve up a pitch there. So Wells went with the changeup, which is his third best pitch, but knowing that Gaetti dead set on that heater, got him out front.
He got a fastball and turned on it too quickly. Into the seats, 2-2.
You talk about acquisitions. This man right here, Gary Gaetti, 5 seasons, 80-plus RBIs back in 87 and 86. Had 108 and 109 RBIs respectively. The general consensus is he's the best defensive third baseman in the American League, having won 4 Gold Glove winners, and only Brooks Robinson with 16 and Buddy Bell with 6 have won more. So this guy's just a complete all-around player.
He got fisted on 2-2. Runner coming home. Tabler's throw. It was late and dropped, and California leads 1-0. Gary Gaetti with his 28th run batted in on a ball he hit about 85 feet.
Not a good choice. Not a good choice by Pat Tabler. You have to know that Luis Polonia has a great speed. He's going on contact. The ball was fisted. It was not hit hard. Easily home safe. I mean, he's safe by 8-10 feet. Pat Tabler making the wrong decision. You have to know the speed at third base there. He's already by the base easily.
Fielder's choice ruled. No hit for Gaetti, but an RBI. And the cleanup man, Dave Parker, is next. Pat Tabler at first base tonight with slick fielding John Olerud on the bench, slumping.
And Pat hasn't played a lot. You know, the reactions and playing infield is a reactive situation. You think about the situation, but that was a reaction play.
Big breaking ball gets Parker in the hole, 0-2. You know, Ray, we were talking about the Toronto defense. They've made a lot of errors, but those errors have not hurt them. That time, no error shows up on the stat sheet, but it hurts as much as an error does.
Well, it really does. And those are, they call no plays or misplays that aren't shown on the stats. We're going to see if it hurts. Actually, the run would have scored, but they would have had 2 outs. If Gaetti comes around and scores, it's going to hurt. If not, no one's hurt, as they always say in the dugout.
We'll see what Parker can do with Wells here on 1-2. Big Dave hit a home run in his first at-bat on opening day. Then he went 45 at-bats without an extra base hit or an RBI. Wells almost had Gaetti leaning too far. You see a stat like that, Ray, where Dave Parker is hitting so well against the left-hander. What is it about a big free-swinging power guy like this that he can hit somebody like David Wells? Because
he's smart. Dave Parker has always been smart. 2-time National League batting champion, hit over 306 times in his career. He has ability to make adjustments, and what he does, if a guy's throwing him in or breaking balls, he backs off the plate, hits the ball the other way, looks for pitches. He knows that David Wells basically throws everything hard. But he's a very smart hitter. Not only is he big and strong, but he has the ability to hit the ball the other way and make adjustments.
1-2 pitch. And there's that smart hitter laying off the tailing fastball. Count even at 2-2, a run in, 1 on. Top of the first inning. And the count goes full again. Wells, for the second time in the inning, goes to 3-2. He did on Polonia, and he's already in the dugout with a run scored. We'll see if Doug Rader does anything with the runner here with 1 out, Gaetti, and a full count.
Well, I think he'll send Gaetti here. Just make sure the pitcher pitches, and then he'll probably send him.
He decides to hold, but it was hit foul anyway.
The reason I say that, Dave Parker does not strike out a lot for a guy that swings big. You get a ball that's hit out there in the gap in the AstroTurf with that runner going, he's going to score. Also stay out of the double play. Give Winfield a chance to swing the bat.
There's Doug Rader in the dugout, described as a lot more cool than he was as the manager of the Texas Rangers before Bobby Valentine came along down there. Here's the big on-deck hitter, right fielder Dave Winfield. Even with Wally Joyner out, the Angels can throw some big bats at you. And Winfield's been swinging well. Gaetti holding again as Parker continues to battle. They're underway at Cleveland, where it's Cerruti and Eric King throwing tonight. And the Cubs have picked up a run at Montreal. Bilecki and Martinez. Good pitching matchup there. Breaking ball fouled again. Mike Bilecki of Chicago 6-2. Dennis Martinez of Montreal is 6-3.
The only reason you wouldn't send a man in this situation is you don't want to get that strikeout and then throw him out double play. Parker, you have to know your personnel. You saw the stat, he's 5 for 11. I wouldn't think he's going to strike out against David Wells, so I would send him in.
He struck out 38 times this year, but flies into center. Relatively short. Devon White just cruises in to make the catch. 2 down. Another big crowd at Skydome tonight, as usual. They had a record regular season crowd here earlier in the week. One of the big reasons, Jose Canseco and the Athletics were in town. Canseco homered twice in that series. Last night, off the glass of the Stadium Club, way out in left field, he set diners scrambling everywhere with that line drive. Here's a guy who can do the same sort of thing. Winfield leads the club in homers with 8. Wally Joyner also with 8.
Talking to Darren Johnson about Dave Winfield, said that he's been around a long time. Darren Johnson himself led a National League in RBIs way back in the 60s. So this man hits the ball harder than anybody he's ever seen. And Dave Winfield, 39 years old.
And the Pirates are continuing to play well with an early run at Philadelphia. Bob Walk against Jason Grimsley at the Vet tonight. Pittsburgh is up by 4 over the Mets in the National League East. Phillies are 8 games out. And they've cooled off a bit since the early success of Jim Fregosi after their managerial change. 2 balls and no strikes to Winfield. The Angels have broken out on top on Luis Polonia's double, a sacrifice by Soho, and Gaetti's ground ball.
Another thing that Darren Johnson talked about was Dave Winfield understanding the philosophy of hitting. You get a shot at Dave Winfield from the center field camera, we're going to notice how far he is off the plate. He gets as far away from that plate as anyone. He's got that great reach, 6'6", but then he goes right into the baseball. You can't throw him inside because everything in is a ball. So Dave Winfield, as a result, gets that bat extended out over the plate. He does not try to pull the ball, hits most everything in the gap. As a result, he's very tough to fool with off-speed pitches.
Winfield with that 3-home run game at Minnesota. You've got to play him deep. You saw Devon White slightly toward left center. 3-1 pitch coming. And he was right on that fastball.
Well, that, as a hitter, if you can eliminate one side of the plate, you're doing well, and that's what Dave Winfield has done. He's eliminated the inside pitch. Everything now is away from him. He takes that right shoulder, goes right to the baseball. You can get him out if you have that tremendous command on the outside part of the plate. But then when that happens, you'll see Dave inch up on the plate, and respect the outside part. They're going to try to come inside.
Runner going, and it's up and in. And with 2 outs, the Angels have runners at first and second. Dave Winfield will walk a few times. That's his 11th pass of the year. And it'll set the table with 2 outs for a couple of former teammates to battle here. David Wells looking in toward the plate, and he sees Junior Felix stepping in. This is a young guy who broke in a big way with Toronto a season and a half ago with early home runs. Went on last year to hit .263 for the Jays with 15 long ones and 65 RBIs. Not doing very well, though, with men on base, and especially with men at second base or further.
Well, he's not a real patient hitter, Bob, and when runners get in scoring position, you have to be patient because pitchers will nibble and try to get you to hit their pitch. You have to go deep in the count. Junior Felix does not walk a lot. Swings at a lot of bad pitches, and that's one thing that Darren said he's worked with him on, is trying to let him realize, Junior, what is your pitch? What is the pitch you like to hit? His pitch that he likes to hit most often is a fastball about belt high inside. He likes to pull the ball. But as a result, so often he swings at bad pitches, gets behind the count, and has to chase the pitcher's pitch.
Not a good swing there. He's in the hole 1 and 2.
Well, just an example. He's one of those hitters, a lot like Corey Snyder, that I think make up their mind that they're going to swing. And when the pitcher releases it, they just let it fly. You'll see him swinging a lot of bad pitches.
Well, he was swinging at so many bad pitches, he got benched on May 7th when he was hitting just 197. That was after Doug Rader had seen him hit 143 his first week. That's about as bad a swing as you'll see a right-hander have against a lefty. But the Angels get a run on a hit. They lead 2, and that's how the game gets underway in Toronto. Blue Jays hitting only 7th in the league and a surprising 11th in home runs. The ex-Angel in center field, Devon White, is the leadoff man. Roberto Alomar bats second at second base with Joe Carter in left field. The cleanup man tonight, first baseman Pat Tabler. Rookie Ed Sprague replacing Kelly Gruber in third, and Pat Borders, the catcher, batting 6th. In right field, batting 7th, Kenny Williams. Manuel Lee, the shortstop, to follow. And the DH batting 9th is Glenn Allen Hill.
Pitching tonight for the California Angels, Mark Langston, left-hander, 6'2", 190 pounds. 30 years old, tremendous fastball, 91, 92, really explosive. Curveball, sharp, quick, tight, rotation, changeup. He throws occasionally. Catcher for the Angels, Lance Parrish, a longtime Detroit Tiger, been over here now for 3 years. Gary Gaetti, the premier third baseman in the American League, at third base. Dick Schofield, the shortstop. Luis Sojo, the second baseman. Donnie Hill tonight at first base. Junior Felix, we mentioned his ability to go get the ball in center field. Luis Polonia in left, and Dave Winfield, the veteran, in right field.
Yeah, before the season started, this did not shape up. Has a very good defensive outfield, but Polonia has taken care of that. We'll see if Junior Felix can do his part out there. ESPN's Friday Night Baseball from Skydome in Toronto. Seats about 51,000 for baseball. We'll do some comparisons tonight. These clubs have made big off-season trades, and against left-handed starters, the Angels have been much better. Blue Jays just over 500.
Well, that's a pretty astounding stat, 10-1. But you think about Gaetti and Winfield, the ability of Parker, as you saw, to hit left-handers, and also Wally Joyner hitting the ball the other way. Felix, Parrish, pretty much a right-handed dominated lineup.
And Langston starts off Devon White with a breaking ball, misses outside. You saw White's numbers at 277, but from the right side, he's hitting 320. Look out, Rich Hacker, jumping out of the way at the third base coaching box.
Well, there's something we need to take note in. Marcel Latchman, the pitching coach for the Angels, stated that there's not any difference in Mark Langston this year than last year. except the fact that he comes right at the hitters now. Last year he would pick. He has that great fastball, the great curveball.
Well, that's one out, bottom of the first inning. Let's get a quick update. Here's John Saunders.
Budweiser quickly takes us to Boston, where the Red Sox jumped over the Orioles very early here. First inning, bases are loaded. Tom Brunansky finds the gap in the wall. Reed scores, followed by Quintana. They've added a couple of more and lead it now 4-0. Back to Bob and Ray.
Thank you, John. And you hate to say make or break, but it might be that for the Orioles this weekend. 8.5 back of the Red Sox. They've got to start beating some of the top teams in their own division. One out, Roberto Alomar, the hitter. And Mark Langston is continuing the trend that he started the last time these two clubs met. In that 5-hit complete game shutout last Sunday in Anaheim, 10 pop-ups, 4 fly balls to the outfield to go along with 8 strikeouts. Off the end of the bat, in the hole, Schofield on the run, and offline, it'll be a base hit for Alomar. Nothing Donnie Hill could do except try to come off the bag, catch it, and then go after the runner.
And nothing Dickie Schofield can do. Darren Johnson, again, talking to him before the game, said that Dick Schofield threw the ball better than anybody that he's seen off balance. And you're going to see right here he has a chance off balance. Tremendous play. Now, let me tell you something. Going all the way third base line, it's a miracle he just got that ball airborne. No chance to make the play on the fleet Roberto Alomar.
Alomar running threat with 1 out. Joe Carter back in the American League, and he's off to a good start and has become a very popular figure with the Skydome fans here in Toronto. Breaking ball is in there. Homered here on opening day. Since then, 5 more. And a .290 batting mark, and he has owned left-handers after struggling terribly in the National League with the Padres.
Mark Langston last year had more 2-0 counts, more than 3-1 counts than anybody in baseball. And when the hitter got 3-0 or 2-0 against Mark Langston, they hit .385. That's because he comes right at you with that fastball.
Well, this one squirts away from Donnie Hill. Alomar to second base, and he'll go down there with 1 out.
Well, Donnie Hill was a little nervous before the game. Does not play much first base. He's always been a second baseman, a little bit of third base. A lot of people think first base is an easy position to play. His throw, just a quick throw, and he just does not react and get the glove down. Mark Langston just got the ball over there quicker than he expected.
And as expected, error on the first baseman. He might be having a little trouble with that mitt. He didn't catch the throw from Schofield and didn't catch that one from Langston. No balls, 1 strike to Joe Carter. A little change of speed down and away from the right-hander.
You see last year where they led the American League in errors. This year they're first in AL in fielding, as we mentioned in our open. Donnie Hill, if he plays first base, that first place ranking may be in jeopardy.
Runners going off second, and Carter fouls it back to the screen.
Oh, and he had a great jump too. Roberto Alomar read that pitch so well. He started as soon as actually anticipated the move home from Langston, and actually was full tilt running before the ball was even delivered.
Well, they still have the error lead, Ray, because Baltimore's the next closest with 26. And you would expect that with the Ripkins playing on the infield.
Watch out. See, he had that moving lead there. There's no way you're going to throw a man out. He's actually, that's called a walking lead. He already started toward third base, anticipating Langston going home.
And we'll see what approach Carter has on 0-2. You're one of those guys who watches him, Ray, and doesn't think he makes any adjustments at all, really, even when he has 2 strikes.
Well, he strikes out a lot. Joe Carter's one of those guys that tries to pull everything, and you start throwing him away.
Ooh. Second baseman Soho taking the throw.
That's why he's never hit for a high average. You know, he's always hit around 230, 240, and he has that ability to pull that outside pitch, but one of those big guys that doesn't make a lot of adjustment. He goes up there looking for the ball in a certain area and swinging through that area. He's not nearly as tough an out when he has a tougher hitter when he has 2 strikes.
Well, what he did in the National League certainly bears out what you're talking about. He was an all-or-nothing hitter for the Padres last year. when Carter drove home 115 runs but hit only 232. 0-2 pitch. Runner going again. Strikeout. Throw to third high. And in there is Alomar. Alomar's 12th of the year in 14 attempts.
Well, Roberto just flat out knew that he could steal third base. He had Langston read. The only bad thing about that is, with 2 strikes, the hitter has a tendency to blink. When as soon as you see that guy start right there, it's very difficult because you actually have this little flash and you blink and you take your eye off the ball. And it's hard to do, but Alomar trying to get to third base with 1 out. Now he's there with 2 outs.
Pat Tabler needs to pretend that the bases are loaded here.
Oh, boy. See something or what?
Fastball right down the middle. Tabler comes in with a batting mark of 238. Career, he's one of those bases loaded maniacs. 41 out of 82 for a 500 batting mark. 100 career RBIs in that situation. It'll take the 2-out hit or a mistake by Langston to tie the game. And Langston shows some confidence in Lance Parrish by throwing the ball in the dirt.
Pat Tabler, career 286 hitter, always been a very professional hitter. Hands away from the body.
Pulls it. One hopper. Gaetti scoops. Sidearms him out. And the first inning is over. A hit, an error, and a steal. One man stranded after 1 at the Skydome. Angels lead.
Wasting no time getting to Dennis Martinez. First inning, Andre Dawson here. Back to the wall in center field. Watch Grissom up at the Cubs sign, appropriately enough, but can't get to the ball as Sandberg comes in to score. Dawson would later be driven in as well as he winds up on third with a triple. The Cubs lead it 3-0 in the first. Back to Bob and Ray.
Thank you very much, John Saunders. No roof on like in Montreal here in Toronto tonight. You're looking south across the Queen Elizabeth Way and down into Lake Ontario. Now down into the Skydome from the Sky Cam, of course. Top of the second inning, Angels 1-0, and they'll send up the bottom 3 in their batting order. Lance Parrish, Donnie Hill, and Dick Schofield. And the good news for the Angels last year was that Lance Parrish was in good health for the first time in a while, and he again became an offensive force.
Well, he certainly did. Lance, an 8-time All-Star, 7 in the American League, 1 year in the National League in 1988, 3-time Gold Glove winner. I don't know what they're doing out there.
I don't know if David Wells has some sort of problem. He consulted for a long time with Ed Sprague, his third baseman. It looks like the second inning is very slow getting underway. Well, we're waiting for a second baseman. That's the problem. Alomar had to make some adjustments and maybe get that right wrist tape. He must have gone into the bag hard. We had to wait for him to come back out of the dugout and get ready to play some defense. That's all the Blue Jays need, is another hand injury to an infielder. Because at the present time, there doesn't appear to be a real end in sight to the Kelly Gruber situation. And the second inning underway with a swinging strike to Parrish.
Lance Parrish, a dead middle-end fastball hitter. On the plate, likes everything hard, has trouble with the breaking ball.
Pulls it to the hole and unable to get it, Manuel Lee. Angels for the second straight inning have the leadoff man hitting a board, and here's our leadoff man, John Saunders.
Tigers in the Indians still in the first. Mark Leiter, second pitcher of the game for Detroit. Joel Skinner just plops it out into right field there. Jacoby and Allred come around to score. Finally, they've headed to the second, but Cleveland on top big, 5-1. Back to Bob and Ray.
All right, John, thank you. And those Tigers only 2 back of the Red Sox and these Blue Jays coming into the weekend.
Well, they bunted with the lead off runner on in the first inning. They're not going to do it this time. That goes to show you that whenever that happens, the manager believes that the Sohos and the Gaettis, Parkers, and Winfields are going to drive in and run. You get in the bottom of your batting order. He looks for a situation for the hitter to get ahead in the count and move the runner by a hit and run. We mentioned the Toronto Blue Jays as a National League ball club, or playing like a National League ball club. This team has enough speed to do the same thing.
And Donnie Hill's a tough out. Contact hitter, switch hitter. 264 for the Angels a year ago, and a rather surprising 352 at-bats. You really don't think of Donnie being up there that much. Very useful player who's in his 7th big league season. Although evidently struggling a little bit tonight at first base defensively. Nubbed it. Wells charges, goes to first after thinking about second. And with one out, Lance Parrish is down at second base.
David Well throws a changeup here, 1-1 pitch. Reacts to the ball, has ideas of going to second base, comes up and starts to throw, and then stops himself and goes to first. That's what you young players, American Legion players, Little League players, always come up with your mind set to go and get that lead runner, and you can see if he's there or not. You always have plenty of time to get that runner going to first base.
Bottom of the order, Dick Schofield. And he has produced well at the bottom of the batting order after a 1990 season that saw him out until early June with a hamstring problem. His defense suffered as well when he came back, and him being healthy is another reason the Angels have been the league's top defensive club this year.
See how tight and close Schofield is? He's been pulling off the ball. His timing just was all messed up. That he kept hitting the fastball, as you saw it there, to right field, pulling the breaking ball foul. So they worked, and they started with him being open, thinking he wasn't seeing the ball well. Put all of his weight on his back foot. Now they have him closed so that he stays on the ball as long as he can. He's thinking right center field. He's trying to hit everything to right center field so that if he's late on the fastball, he hits it hard to right. If he's early on the breaking ball, he pulls it to left center.
There's a pop-up to the right side. Roberto Alomar had the angle. Kenny Williams, though, calls him off, and that's 2 down. Angels just coming off winning 2 out of 3 at Chicago. They've been a great ball club away from Anaheim Stadium. 6 games over 500, hitting in the mid-280s, 5.5 runs a game. When the folks come to home games in Orange County, they wonder, why don't they play like they do on the road when we're watching them on TV?
I don't know, because that's a great ballpark to hit in, great atmosphere.
Well, Gary Gaetti kind of exemplifies the problems they've had. Early in the season, he was hitting over 300 on the road and down around 200 at home, and some of the others have done the same. Back to the top, Luis Polonia with an 0-1 count. He doubled and scored. And how's that number for a little guy who leads off? That's why he has 17 RBIs.
I want to carry that thought out. You think a lot of times you get more rest at home. I know that when I was on the road, I got a lot more rest than I was at home, especially when Nancy and the kids were home. They'd be up early in the morning. You'd want to be up with them and doing things. And it was amazing that on the road you sleep till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, get up and eat late. Always seem to be tired at home.
Well, tired on the road for that at-bat was Polonia. 1 left. It's 1-0 Angels, middle of the second. Well, the first taping was removed from the right hand of Roberto Alomar, and now another application being made in the Toronto dugout. Evidently, he went hard into third base with that lead hand, or back into second base.
Looks like, yeah, because he looks like he jammed his fingers right there up against the bag, a lot like Don Mattingly did the other night when he had to come out of the ballgame stretching that single into a double.
Didn't bother Alomar a whole lot. Hands first, he then stole third, but it was stranded, and Ed Sprague, the rookie, leads off for the Jays, bottom of the second. He's done a fine job in the absence of Kelly Gruber. They had a youngster up from AAA, Ray Gianelli, who was at third base for a while. Sprague, the man, this is a versatile player. He's also looked to as a possible catcher of the future with the Jays.
Well, the way he can swing the bat, he has a very strong throwing arm, and with Kelly Gruber at third base, they're going to look for someone else to play. or somewhere else to play. He's a dead fastball hitter, played at Stanford University, led the club to 2 straight College World Series championships. I actually played with his father back in 1974, Eddie Sprague, who was a pitcher. But again, play with everyone.
That's when you're getting old, is when the sons of teammates start showing up.
Yeah, but that was my rookie year in '74. Actually,
doesn't matter.
Wasn't classified. oh, yeah. What was your rookie year?
Can't remember. 3 balls and 2 strikes as Langston bounces the breaking ball. Sprague playing his 17th game. He's been up there 43 times. And the fastball misses upstairs. Blue Jays have their leadoff man on as Langston walks his first. We'll face another right-handed hitter, catcher Pat Borders. Borders lacking for playing time in April, with Greg Myers getting the call most of the time. But lately, Cito Gaston has returned to the expected Myers-Borders platoon.
Well, last year they were raving about Pat Borders. He hit 15 home runs and just 346 at-bats, hit 286. There's been some rumblings around, as you mentioned, Eddie Sprague, their catcher of the future.
Runner going, chopped, and it's through. The glove of Coyote. Sprague will go all the way to third with nobody down. Langston made the mistake with the walk. Gaetti had the ball tip off his web, and now suddenly runners at the corners.
Well, hit and run. You see Eddie Sprague glancing in there. Pat Borders having trouble swinging the bat. Cito Gaston trying to get him started and just hitting the ball and chopper through the AstroTurf with that overspin.
And a big spot for Kenny Williams. Who watches the breaking ball low and inside. Williams had hit 7 home runs and driven home 19 at Syracuse when he got the call several weeks ago up to the big club. Once projected as a future star with the White Sox. Hasn't worked out for him. They even tried him at third base there for a while. That was a disaster. And he found himself in Detroit and now here with the Jays.
Kenny's one of those guys, Bobby, that possesses tremendous athleticism. Runs great, has an outstanding throwing arm, very strong. You watch him in batting practice, hits the ball as far as anyone. But he just has never been able to get it all together. Highly touted out of high school, both in football and baseball. Went on to play at Stanford University also, although not a teammate of Eddie Sprague.
And the 1-1 pitch catches the inside corner. Up around the letters. Williams didn't like the call from Dale Ford. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Angels will concede the run for a shot at the double play if it's hit to Soho or Schofield. Sprague at third. Borders over at first. Nobody out. Bottom of the second. Well hit down the left field line. Nobody will catch this one. 1 run is home. Around to third goes Borders. It's an RBI game-tying double for Kenny Williams. The walk comes back to haunt as Langston watches the Jays tie it.
Well, the walk doesn't concern me as much as this hanging breaking ball 1 and 2 is just a terrible pitch to throw. You want to, if you throw that breaking ball, you throw it down and in and try to backdoor it, but to start it right over the middle of the plate, especially as often as Langston is throwing the breaking ball ahead in the count, hitters sit all over it and dwell on it.
Now it shapes up as a big inning. Langston dealing with 2 men on, second and third. Nobody out for Manuel Lee. He singles to right field. Jays have the lead. They're sending both runners. Winfield's throw is cut off, and the runner's hung up between first and second. Lee tagged, but after he drives in 2 runs.
Manny Lee going with the fastball up in the strike zone, driving it hard to right field. Winfield coming up and making a real good throw. And what got Manny Lee right there, if you watch, Manny Lee does the right thing here. The ball is over the cutoff man, but here the pitcher is right there behind him to make the play. That's Gaetti. Gaetti's moved over there, which is a play that called a helper play. Gaetti moving over there, the ball overthrown the first baseman. And Manny Lee seeing that, you're told as soon as the ball goes over the cutoff man to go to second. But Gaetti with a heads-up play.
9-5-6 on the putout. 3 consecutive hits against Langston. Glenn Allen Hill is the number 9 hitter. He's been disappointed with this playing time. He's been watching as Mark Whitten has seen most of the action in right field. This one goes straight up. Parrish finds it, gets rid of the mask, and makes the catch for 2 down. And let's get an update. Here's John Saunders.
Looks like the Jays will need a victory tonight to stay even with Boston because they're putting a hurting on the Orioles. Jody Reed just in front of Devereaux. The bad hop, they call it, say it's a triple. It scores a run. He would later score as well. 7-1. 6-1 now is the score in the second.
Thank you, John. And after a couple of wins, things look ugly again for Johnny Oates and the Orioles. Top of the order, Devon White, the hitter. Boston and Toronto started the night tied for first. Red Sox are percentage points ahead. They played 2 less games with 1 less win, 1 less loss. And this one over but low. Devon White popped up to the second baseman, his initial time up. When we saw that, we figured, oh well, same old Langston that pitched in Anaheim last week. Since then, not so. He's already given up 4 hits in this game. Gave up 5 in a complete game less than a week ago.
Well, the one difference between this year and last year is getting ahead in the count thus far this year with a 6-1 record, working quickly.
On 3-1, a high fly right field. Winfield under it. Langston puts a quiet end to the inning. A walk and 3 hits. Jays plate 3 and lead by 2. Welcome back to Skydome in Toronto. 2 innings in the scorebook here. The Jays have out-hit the Angels 4-2 and lead 3-1. Luis Sojo for California in the top of the 3rd inning. And he looks at a breaking ball in there from David Wells, who finds himself with the lead. Sojo, for the 10th time this year, sacrificed his first time up. Got fisted. And this should be easy for Pat Borders. Big news from the NBA as Pat Riley is New York bound, and we'll track some scores for you here, starting in the American League tonight, where in the East, Boston and Toronto are tied up atop the division. Oakland by 1 over Texas. In the West by 2 over these Angels. Gary Gaetti, the hitter, with 1 out, bases empty. Hits it hard, but right at Ed Sprague, who stayed right with it. Strong arm, 2 down. Some of the results from ESPN's continuing coverage of the French Open. And with 2 outs and nobody aboard, it'll be Dave Parker against David Wells. Looks like Wells is stronger now that he's pitching with the lead. He's going right after hitters and getting ahead. Good breaking ball.
That's what they said about him when he was reliever. Beginning in the 1990 season, he was in the bullpen and had made 126 straight relief appearances between starts. Last year he was 10-5 in games that he started. But as a reliever, they always talked about him coming right at you. You know, that you didn't have to wait on this boy because he was going to rush it up there on you.
Parker unhappy with that high strike zone he feels of Dale Ford. Much like Kenny Williams was a half inning ago. We'll see if Parker's result is as good as what Kenny did. Drove home a run with a double. Here's the 0-2. But Ray, that's such an interesting thing to consider. Reliever turned starter. You can't throw 2 pitches and pitch 6, 7, 8 innings because these hitters are too smart.
Well, that's right. They used Dave Wells in a setup role where he'd have to go out there and throw maybe 2 innings, throw 30, 35 pitches.
Did he stop? No. The home plate umpire punches out Parker. Easy 3rd inning. And now Wells is settling down. He's retired 6 in a row and leads 3-1 middle 3rd. Roof has been open for most of this Blue Jay homestand as the A's and now the Angels have played here. Bottom of the 3rd, Roberto Alomar leads off for Toronto. Langston misses high with a fastball. Pretty good over the last 3 weeks, Alomar, after the slow start in April. Always tough to make the adjustment. You know all about that, Ray. You come to a new city, new teammates, new team. You like to make that quick first impression, and suddenly April's over and you're hitting .235.
What you're doing, Roberto Alomar felt that he was going to be a fixture there in San Diego, and a big part of that organization, that youth movement they had out there, and then coming here, but he's made the adjustment very well.
And it was an emotional thing for him with the changes of his dad being released and then his trade, breaking up the family.
Well, you know, it's funny, it all started with all 3 of them out there, and then his brother gets traded, and then his dad gets released, and then he gets traded. Very sensitive man. Sandy, tremendous guy. Known him for about 15, 20 years. Never put pressure on his kids. Just let them go out and play baseball. Always smiling and happy.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. He got jammed with a fastball and turned it down the left field line. Certainly a new look to this infield up the middle with Fernandez gone. Alomar will go to first base. Leadoff man aboard, and here's an update with John Saunders.
3rd inning, Pirates and Phillies. Bob walked with a 2-run lead facing Dickie Thon. And Thon gets his 2nd home run of the year. This out to left field to get the Phillies on the board. Now it's 2-1. Now let's take you back to Toronto. Bob and Ray.
All right, thanks, John. And that Philadelphia ball club needs some offensive spark. Right now, they are 2nd last in the National League. Guess who's the only team hitting worse than the Phillies? The world champions. Dickie Thon, a battler, knocking one out down there. And here's Joe Carter, who's done it 6 times this year. 4 of them here at Skydome.
You know, we talked about Joe Carter not making a lot of adjustments when he gets behind the count, but talking about production, this man has put up some numbers over the years. 2 times in his career over 30 home runs. 5 years in a row over 20 home runs. 4 of the last 5 years 100 RBIs plus. He can do some damage and do it in a hurry.
Now they've got the runner picked off. Alomar to second. Throw in behind him. And the tag by Schofield. It'll go 1-3-6. Alomar's had an interesting night on the bases. Went to second on the error last time. Stole third and now picked off with a walking start.
Well, he is getting that walking start, trying to time Langston, and that's what you do. you make up your mind to go and you go on the first move if you think you got him read.
Joe Carter puts a souvenir in the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lance Mullenix just to our left of Alomar. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball tails away. You talked about the production of Carter, but there's that interesting and disturbing trend of his batting average. In the last 3 years, 271, 243, and 232. High fly, plenty of room in right center. Junior Felix hauls it in, 2 down.
Well, Bobby, this is why you see so many guys hurting their hands. Alomar going in there thinking he has to beat the throw, thinking he's quicker. Look at that head first slide with his hands hitting first, reaching out. That's how you jam fingers and hurt wrists, and you see that becoming prevalent today. And the only guy that I really saw do it was Pete Rose, and now everybody's talking about it. In fact, my little boy says that they're calling them Petey's now.
Oh, the slide
Head
itself?
first slides are called Petey's by young guys in Little League programs.
Well, you see a lot of runners take their gloves off and put them in their hands so that their fingers will be closed. Thus, they won't jam them against the bag. Alomar keeps his on and obviously jammed his fingers 2 innings ago. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Pat Tabler. There's a guy who's been around to several different ball clubs. Indians, Royals, Blue Jays most notably. And long ago he accepted his role. Pinch hitter, DH, part-time first baseman. Give you a little pop off the bench. He's homered once this year. But not really the cleanup hitter the Jays might have told you they would be using on the 31st of May had you talked to them 2 months ago.
Pat Tabler, I have great respect for him because he can do something that I could never do. He could hit every 4 or 5 days. One of those guys with a rare ability to hit with few at-bats.
Tomahawks a fly ball left side. Gaetti and Schofield looking for it, and it'll find the seats about 4 rows deep.
The most difficult thing that I ever did, I was always able to hit when I had 4 or 5 at-bats every night, 400 or 500 bats a year. When they started platooning me, all my minor league career I played every day. When I started platooning in '84, I'll tell you what, it'd like to kill me because you sit over there on the bench for 3 days and then you feel like your timing's good, getting the ball game, ahead of everything, behind everything.
Tabler hits a long one to left center, but not long enough. Felix about 385 feet away hauls it in. Easy inning for Langston after the leadoff walk. It's 3-1 Jays.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Red Devil Oil Enamel for the finish of a lifetime. And by Ryobi, featuring a full line of power tools for professionals and serious do-it-yourselfers.
And amidst some folks who are paying a lot to have dinner tonight watching the Blue Jays, it's the top of the 4th rolling around at the Skydome in Toronto. Bob Carpenter with Ray Knight. 3-1 Jays over the Angels as Dave Winfield leads off. Winfield walked his first time up. Angels had a chance in that first inning to come up with a big inning and did not do it against David Wells. Winfield with a high fly to right center. One-hander for Kenny Williams. Talking things over with Devon White. And Junior Felix will be next. These ball clubs met 3 times in Anaheim last week, and Angels won 2 of those. They took the season series 7 out of 12 a year ago, but the Jays dominated them here with 4 out of 6. Felix on the other side now, and he takes one low and away.
Somebody still likes it here.
Always nice to know that you're missed.
There's, I think, a great story how Junior Felix was discovered. Epi Guerrero, the great scout for the Toronto Blue Jays down in the Dominican Republic, was at a track meet, was at a baseball game, and he was sitting in the bleachers, and behind him there was a track meet. He turns around and watches this 100-yard dash. Junior Felix wins a 100-yard dash like 10 yards, and he runs over and asks him, has he played baseball? And he says, no, sir, not since I was a little kid. And he was about 16 years old at this time and hadn't played ball since he was 11. Well, Epi Guerrero then signed him to a major league contract, a minor league contract, and the rest is history. He's here in the big leagues.
2 balls, 2 strikes as he fouls one back.
Guys decided to take a nap up there, and what do those rooms cost tonight? $500 bucks?
They're not cheap. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a breaking ball in there for the second out. Strikeout number 4, and here's John Saunders.
Budweiser takes us now to Philadelphia and Veterans Stadium. We showed you Dickie Thon's home run to get the Phils on the board. Well, Jason Grimsley gave it right back. Jeff King just called up from Buffalo, where he was on a rehab assignment. This is second home run of the year. It's 3-1. Back to Bob and Ray.
Thank you, John. Those Pirates have had some problems. Van Slyke's been slumping, King hurt, but they're still 4 ahead of the Mets. Looks like Doug Trabeck has himself straightened out, too, after that nifty one-hitter the other night. Lance Parrish singled to left field back in the second inning. 1 for 10 career now against David Wells.
So that was his first hit against David Wells.
And those were mainly in late game situations. Ray, just picking up on your point of a half inning ago about being a part-time player. A lot of times you're called on to pinch hit like a tabler. You're not facing chumps out there when you're batting in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning either. You're facing closers, and that makes it extra tough. This one is well hit to left center. Devon White chasing it down. 9 in a row for David Wells. Middle of the 3rd, he's regained his composure, and his team leads 3-1.
Expos and Dennis Martinez falling behind the Cubs. Here facing Mark Grace. Pulls this one out to right field. His 3rd home run of the year. Makes it a 4-0 game. That's where they stand right now, headed to the 4th inning. So back to Bob and Ray.
Well, the Cubs appear to have some new life with Jim Eschian running things. They're 7 back of the Pirates in 4th place. Just a game and a half back of the Cardinals. Maybe they're making a move. Here's Ed Sprague for the Jays. Bottom of the 4th underway. Langston with a breaking ball for a strike. A lot of second-generation big leaguers here tonight. We talked about Sprague earlier. Alomar, Schofield, Stottlemyre, some others. Nobody in the Blue Jays staff is throwing any better than Todd Stottlemyre. Well, he ran into a few problems here against Oakland last night. That will happen when they're in town. No balls, 2 strikes to Sprague with Pat Borders on deck. And he tries to pull the outside pitch. And Schofield throws him out. Called his dad Ducky. Nice to see Dick back healthy this year after all those bad hamstring problems he had a year ago. Very steady at short. There's Pat Borders. This one over but low. 2-0 to Borders, who started his career as an infielder.
Gene Tennis working with him. You see Pat Borders very square here. What he's been doing is pulling off the ball, so they moved him on to the plate, trying to get him to get plate coverage, because he's just been turning that left shoulder completely off the ball.
Junior Felix with fly ball coverage, 2 down. This is really settling down into a pitching duel.
See right there how close he is to the plate. Complete coverage on that ball. He just got under it. Good swing. Just hit the bottom part of the ball and flew out to center field, but he definitely had plate coverage, and that's something that Tennis said over the last 3 weeks he has not had. That's a great shot from that overhead camera, isn't it?
Nothing like it in baseball without a helicopter. Kenny Williams is the hitter. You could do it at other domes, of course, but this place is the only place where you can get that shot plus some nice views of the lake. Kenny Williams with a big hit 2 innings ago. He rammed a base hit to left field that drove in the game-tying run, and then Manuel Lee drove home 2 more.
Man's way up there near the top of this thing.
There's a big rope. He just comes right down when the game's over.
Yeah.
By the way, this place is more than twice as tall, for reference, as the Metrodome in Minneapolis. That's the equivalent of 31 stories tall up there. 3 balls, no strikes. Williams pulls it, just missing the bag at third. And the count goes full, 3-2.
Well, Kenny Williams hit that bullet down the left field line before, and the Angels know Polonia playing him near the left field line. Felix in center playing him in left field, but see Polonia way over there near the left field line. He's only maybe 25, 30 feet.
Williams homered in Anaheim on Sunday. And he does a nice job to lay off the breaking ball. Now the count goes to 3-2.
And anytime a guy, I tell you one thing, anytime a guy...
No, it was ball 4. The scoreboard was right. It still is 4 balls to a walk, and Dale Ford is now getting his counter reset. Well, today, a big win for Fresno State over the Seminoles of Florida State. ESPN's 12th year coverage of the 1991 College World Series continues tonight at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. That game will feature Florida and LSU, and then tomorrow live at 7:30 Eastern, Wichita and Long Beach. Some more action for you live on Sunday from Rosenblatt Stadium. College baseball's Field of Dreams in Omaha. That was the 3rd walk issued by Mark Langston, who's now behind Manuel Lee in the count. Make one a little closer. Lee saw a pitch up and he was pumping. He got the big hit of the game 2 innings ago with a single to right field that drove home the 2 lead runs.
Manny Lee, one of those guys last year, not fundamentally sound, could not bunt. We hammered him to death on one of our telecasts in late September. Cito made him a pet project, and he said he's one of the best bunters on the team now. He worked all spring training, worked and won a ball, got him on a machine, just a curveball, curve master, or true pitch machine, had him to bunt 100 balls a day. So now they believe that Manny Lee can bunt.
The only problem he has is that he's striking out still about once every 4 at-bats. That's really too many for a guy like Manny. And if he expects to play every day at shortstop, he's not going to make people forget Tony Fernandez. But he does have to do those little things.
Well, check out this swing. He swings as hard as he can. He's only about 5'7", 145 pounds, and he swings like Ken Seiko.
A little less bat speed.
A little less bat speed, but as much effort.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The count stays.
And he's right down on the end of the bat. Let's see if he chokes up here with... No, he's not going to do it. I can't. That's tough. That's one reason why he strikes out. He swings hard as Langston again goes over there. Donnie Hill undaunted by Donnie missing that earlier toss to first.
Maybe Donnie Hill told him, don't worry about throwing. I'll get the rest done. Here's the 1-2. Fastball up.
Well, that's one thing that I see so often with young hitters. They feel like they have to be on the end of the bat. There's so many things to do. David Concepcion used to be on the end of the bat in the early mid-70s. Then he got that donut-type rubber grip that he put on the bat that made it feel like he had the knob, but actually he was 2 inches off the end, gave him better bat control. He was able to hit 300 a couple years, and he gave credit to the fact that he had better bat control choking up. He wanted to have that feel of the knob on his hand, but he realized as he got older and a little slower, if he choked up, he made better contact.
Kenny Williams can run. He is quick. Hasn't had much of a chance. He's stolen 1 base this year in limited playing time. 2 outs in the inning. 2-2 pitch coming. Breaking ball off the fists and unable to get it is Soho. Williams scooting to third with 2 down. Runners at the corners. Let's get another update. Here's John Saunders.
In St. Louis tonight, the Cardinals catch an early break. That's McReynolds getting the ball back in as Ozzie Smith tries to stretch the single into a double. Watch him lift the hand to avoid the tag of Jeffries. But Jeffries goes for the leg and actually has him. They called him safe. He would later score on the Langford single. Back to Bob and Ray.
That's what a bad defensive reputation does for you. You tag a guy out and the umpire still calls him safe.
It's going a little too far.
Cardinals and Mets. Good matchup tonight. Dwight Gooden 5-4. Rather surprised at that record. Ken Hill 5-2 for the Cardinals, who are a game and a half back of the Mets in the National League East. Glenn Allen Hill. Not much there lately in his last 34 at-bats. Langston with his quickest fastball tonight for strike 1. That was the most heat we've seen from the left-hander so far. Took a little bit off, and this one is way upstairs, left side. Into the 5th deck. Right up above the blue football press box up there. No balls, 2 strikes to Glenn Allen Hill.
Glenn Allen Hill is as strong as anyone. You look at this man, he's just put together. 6'2", 220 pounds. 30 home runs back in '86 in Knoxville. Another one of those guys that opens up that left side that Gene Tennis moved right on top of the plate. A guy that's strong. See where he's right on top of the plate here. He's got his right foot. He's opened up his stance. His right foot is maybe 4 inches off the plate, right on the back line. Watch how he turns that left knee out. And that causes his hands to come through the strike zone a little slower and gives him not as much plate coverage away, but on top of the plate like that, you can get by with it. Kevin Mitchell does that a little bit. He certainly gets by with it.
Two on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count. Blue Jays by 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hill had a good rip back to the screen and well. That one pointed the microphone in a different direction.
If I were Langston here, I'd go with a breaking ball or a changeup away. Glenn Allen's pretty much on that fastball. Changeup.
Yes, it was. Straight up it goes. Luis Sojo wants it. Blue Jays will strand their 2nd and 3rd runners of the night, but after 4 playing here at Skydome, they lead the Angels 3-1. Tonight in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. ESPN's Friday Night Baseball. First of our doubleheader tonight. Blue Jays scored 3 in the 2nd, offsetting the Angels tally in the 1st, and lead 3-1 as we enter the top of the 5th inning. Donnie Hill leads off for California. Number 8 man, followed by Dick Schofield in the top of the order, Luis Polonia. Hill nubbed one to the pitcher first time up. And a nice changeup by David Wells. A couple of power throwing left-handers who can pull the string on hitters. Early American League action tonight. Into the National League we go, where the Cubs have stretched that lead at Montreal to 4-0, and the Pirates look up every time you do. They're winning again. And our first final from Omaha this afternoon, Bulldogs over the Seminoles. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Donnie Hill.
Well, the way that Wells is pitching Donnie Hill, it looks like to me he's going to try to get him out inside. He's shown him pitches away. Thrown him to one fastball in that he fouled off. So he's going to try to get him in, I believe, with that hard breaking ball or the fastball in under his hands. Shook the pitch off. Fastball over the middle of the plate, but I guarantee he doesn't want to throw it over the middle of the plate.
Donnie Hill has occasional power. Hit 3 homers a year ago. Drove home 32. And won this year with 11 RBIs coming in. And he's been a very good hitter from the right side, hitting right around 390.
Back up curveball.
This one out toward the outside corner. Strikeout number 5 for David Wells. Down to the number 9 man in the batting order here at the Skydome in Toronto on ESPN's Friday Night Baseball. And in the top of the 5th inning, it's 3-1 for the home team, the Blue Jays. Punched all their runs together in 1 inning on 2 swings of the bat. They about hit the Angels 5-2. And Dick Schofield is the hitter. Schofield was very reliable in the field until last year when he was not healthy. 20 errors combined in 88 and 89. Last year alone, 17 in only 99 ball games. He managed to lay off the 0-2 inside pitch. But they got a taste of the fact that Schofield was back strong after the All-Star break. He hit .312. Second half of the season.
Those are great points, Bobby, because he led the American League in fielding in 86, 87, and 88. The second total chances and assists in all 3 of those years. Talking to Marcel Latchman, who knows a little bit about pitching and a lot about pitching and a lot about defense, he says that he thinks that the Angels have the best left-sided infield in all of baseball. With Schofield and his sure hands, and Gaetti and his ability to make those plays. But he says when a ball's hit over there, he knows that the guys are going to make the play and throw the guys out. You mentioned the third baseman last year for the Angels. They had 5 of them over there that committed 34 errors, so that had to be a nightmare.
Big breaking ball down and in. Strikeout number 6, and it's all yours again, John Saunders.
Mets and the Cardinals, and with McReynolds on third, Hill unleashes the wild pitch, but watch the ball. Right back to Pagnozzi. He almost gets McReynolds. He's in there, though. Ties it 1-1 in the second. Bob and Ray.
All right, John, thank you. That turned into one of the hottest rivalries in the National League over the last 10 years. Cardinal fans always hated the Cubs more than anyone else, but the Mets are right up there with them. Here's a good drag bunt by Polonia over to first. Got him! Alomar. Couple of speedsters doing battle there. This guy lost out halfway through. 3-1 Toronto. Wells sailing along tonight. Not out there, though. He's inside the ballpark where he has taken care of the Angels since the very first inning. Here's your line score. He stopped them on only 2 hits, 1 run. Langston to work against the Blue Jays, bottom 5. Top of the order, Devon White. And a good breaking ball for strike 1. Devon White has done what he's not supposed to do. He's hit the ball in the air twice. Langston has some stuff, doesn't he?
Well, he does. Always has had. That's why he led the American League in strikeouts for 3 years. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, that hard hook, and now he's begun to throw that changeup and locate it for strikes.
Langston has won 5 in a row. Coming into this game, over 39 innings, he'd given up 12 earned runs at 2.75 ERA, but he's also had help from his buddies with the bats during his 5-game streak. Angels have scored at least 6 runs every time. Now, last year, he had a 10-game stretch where he was 0-8. 8 times in those 10 games, they scored no runs or 1 game. So Langston knows all about feast or famine. Two balls, 2 strikes, and a fastball rocked up the middle. Devon White aboard. That's the 3rd time tonight the Jays have put their leadoff man on. We were kind of joking about the Mets defense a few moments ago, which a lot of people have been doing lately. We just saw a note on the scoreboard here that the Mets have traded with the Padres to bring Gary Templeton to New York for Tim Tuffle. Of course, with Fernandez out there, Gary was not going to play shortstop. Alomar, the hitter. Langston keeps getting the breaking stuff over. And this is a tough Toronto lineup if you're a left-handed pitcher. Sure, Joe Carter and others. But their switch hitters are better from the right side than they are from the left. Devon White aboard there, a .320 right-handed hitter. Only .259 from the left side. Alomar, 30 points plus better, .288 as opposed to .256. And then you've got this guy in the on-deck circle if you don't take care of those little switch hitters. And then down to the bottom of the order, Manny Lee, .324 right-handed as opposed to .261. And when you get late in the ball game, Ray, it's tough to pitch to these guys if you're using your bullpen because they always have the book in their favor. Runner going. Breaking ball low and inside. Uncontested. Devon White with his 8th steal of the year. That one was not swiped on the catcher. That one was stolen on Mark Langston. In fact, Ray, the jump was so early and so good, I thought Langston might throw over to first.
Well, it's just that big curveball, and Lance Parrish, after throwing out 47% of the runners, he's kind of got an idea after being back there all these years that he had no chance. But Devon White got back to first base so easily on the previous move of Langston to first base. He didn't act like he was much concerned at all, so he had him read.
1 ball, 1 strike. A little bunt in the air, and Parrish can't reach it as he slides to the on-deck circle. Nice try, says Joe Carter.
Well, Bobby, this is one thing, you know, we talk about fundamental things, and I don't have any problem with a guy butting a guy over, but when you have a 2-run lead and can handle a bat the way Roberto Alomar can, whatever happened to hitting the ball behind the runner? So many things can happen when you do that. You can get you a base hit to right field, you know, especially you're ahead of the count, and 1-1 you're certainly even with the count. But instead, Roberto Alomar chose to try to drop a bunt down to get the runner over, and you can do that, and I like that when it's a tie ball game. But when you have 2-run lead, play aggressively, try to drive that ball to right field and get that runner over there.
Devon White with the single and the steal at second base, nobody out. And you've got a great RBI man on deck who can make a mistake and still hit a fly ball deep enough to score a guy like White. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There you go. Yep. Tried to bunt and then didn't even get a good swing with 2 strikes after the foul ball. Mark Langston with only his 2nd strikeout of the night.
Mark Langston going to the hard breaking ball, starting on the outside part of the plate, breaking hard down and in. That pitch reminds me a lot of the Steve Carlton breaking ball. When I faced Langston when he was with the Mariners, came closer to throwing that breaking ball the way that Carlton did of anyone that I had faced. Real hard, late bite down and in.
Joe Carter got a fastball up. Strike one.
Another thing, too, about bunting. When a guy has a type of movement, mention all the pop-ups, the reason that people pop up against Mark Langston is because he has that late explosiveness with the fastball up in the zone. It's hard to get the bat head out front. And that hard breaking ball, breaking that sharply, it's almost impossible to bunt those two pitches. You're better off trying to hit it.
Joe Carter, only the second player this century with 100 or more RBIs in consecutive seasons in not only different teams but different leagues. 105 with the Indians 2 years ago, and then the well-documented 115 with the Padres last year. Back in '65 with Cincinnati and '66 with Baltimore. Frank Robinson was the only other to do that.
I'll tell you what, you don't trade too many guys that drive in 100 runs. That's one of the reasons right there.
That's right.
Those guys are hard to come by.
Now, I guess he would be in a class all his own if he did it again, because he'd be going from one league to the other and back.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And people, you know, 100 years they'll say, what was wrong with this guy? Why did he keep getting traded? He's behind in the count, 0-2.
Well, general managers, Bobby, look for the right mix. And they're just trying to find the right mix with Joe Carter. He's the type of guy that's happy-go-lucky. Likes to play. Comes to the ballpark to play, and you know what you're going to get from him.
By the way, Joe does not have his goggles on tonight. When the roof is closed here, he doesn't like the glare. So he wears goggles both at bat and in left field. Roof is open tonight, so no glare. Got him on the fists. Short right field. Soho has the angle, and that's the second out. 1 on 2 outs, and back to John Saunders.
Brewers and the Yankees in a scoreless game. Eric Plunk in there. Pascual Perez had to leave after one batter because of stiffness in his shoulder. B.J. Surhoff singles out to right field. Barfield has it, but Spires scores. It's 1-0 now in the 6th. Back to Bob and Wright.
Thank you, John. Only 5 pitches Perez lasted in that game. Yankees have had a good week. They've risen from the basement to only 5 out behind the Red Sox and the Blue Jays in 5th place, American League East. 2 outs, and Pat Tabler the hitter. Now, why would he hit right-handers so much better than lefties? Of course, if Langston is the kind of guy you're facing, that can answer part of that question, but very unusual statistic there, Will.
Well, it is, but when you play every day, you learn to hit right-handers. As a youth, I always think that it's a lot tougher for left-handers to hit left-handed pitches because they don't see that much of it when they come up. Right-handed hitters see nothing but right-handed pitchers all the way from the Little League right on up. So you can hit a right-hander because that's all you've seen. Then you go see left-handers, and especially the ones that throw that soft change-up stuff away. Pat Tabler likes the fastball. He likes the ball up. The left-handers in the American League especially throw the ball down with a lot of, as we call it, dead fish movement, sinkage away from the right-handed hitter. He doesn't like that pitch, and as a result, he hits right-handers better. If a left-hander can throw him down and away, they can get him out.
Langston turned it over, it went way outside, 2-1. Back to Langston tonight, throwing about 60% strikes. He's in his 5th inning of work. He's given up 3 runs on 6 hits, fanned 2, walked 3. And he still doesn't hesitate to challenge with the fastball as Tabler fouls it out.
Well, that's dangerous from Pat Tabler. I mentioned him liking to pitch up. He's one of the best hitters I've seen from thigh high up to around that Blue Jays, right on the armpits. One of the guys, because he has his hands out away from his body and up high, he can get on top of that good high fastball. A lot of hitters have a tough time doing it, but he's one of those guys that can really drive the pitch up in the zone.
Over but low. Count goes full, 3-2. Tabler signed as a free agent during the offseason. They've got a couple of good veterans here that can help out at each corner of the infield with Tabler and Rance Mullinox, who swings from the left side. Full count pitch is popped up. Gaetti looking up into the sky. And the one-hand grab, inning over. Jays have stranded 4, but after 5, they lead California 3-1. Under the CN Tower, 1,815 feet tall, the world's tallest freestanding structure. The world's most expensive freestanding structure, the Skydome. Top of the 6th inning, 3-1 Jays over the Angels.
Well, you can say that again, because I heard today that if this place were packed every day for the next 10 years, that it wouldn't pay for itself. Can you believe that? Including the hotel.
They're going to have to overbook. Nice bunt. Soho charging his spray. Got him! Ed Sprague, the rookie, is more than just an offensive threat.
Soho just shows the bunt a little too soon here. Watch what he does. He shows it. Sprague gets a good jump, and then he waits and watches the ball. That cost him a couple of steps by just waiting and watching the ball. Sprague making a great barehanded play, guns the ball to first base.
You think it's soaking into Polonia and Soho? There are no bunt hits out there. Polonia robbed by Alomar to end the 5th. Soho robbed by Sprague to start the 6th.
Well, that was a great bunt there. He just sit back a little bit. Did you see him? He got back on that backside, and as soon as that ball hits the barrel of the bat, you've got to be headed toward first base. It's not a sacrifice. You know, that's that drag bunt. You take off, and he just sat there and watched it.
There's Gary Gaetti.
2 great plays by the Blue Jays.
Gaetti extended those arms, trying to take the pitch to right field. 0-2. There's another guy whose numbers haven't lived up to previous years. 44 home runs in 87 and 88 against right-handed pitchers in those 2 years. Only 25 in the last 2 years. And the strikeout on the fastball inside. Bases empty, 2 outs. Gaetti a strikeout victim, like Dave Parker was last time when David Wells really worked him over.
He did. He started him off with a breaking ball down that Parker chased. 0-0. Then 0-1. He started with a fastball right down the heart of the plate for a strike. It's 0-2, and he comes back with a breaking ball that he shows Dave on the inside part of the plate. Then when it got to be 1-2, he started back with another breaking ball that was out of the strike zone that Dave swung at. So he showed him the breaking ball in, then went away with the same breaking ball that he threw him to start his at bat. Struck him out.
Fastball there near the belt, inside, ball 1.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish to Dave that they're making inside conscious and then go away with it like that.
The breaking ball, 1-1.
After busting him inside with a fastball, comes with that big breaking ball, and see Parker give a little bit there. Left shoulder just gives a little bit with that rotation. But you can see Dave looking away right there. Now that's when a hitter makes an adjustment. He was dead set on something away. That's why he took that pitch. David Wells needs to bust him inside right under his hands right here. Changeup.
And it was down low, 3-1. Wells has retired 14 in a row. That's in jeopardy now. He's gone to 3 balls and 1 strike on Parker with Winfield on deck. Had to throw a strike there because you'd rather challenge Parker than have Winfield be the tying run.
You're going to see him come right in on his hands, a ball on off the plate, 4 or 5 inches. Parker just fighting it off, but not a pitch you want to swing at 3-1 when the pitch count is in your favor. Porter's telling him to shake the pitch off. He wants to go inside with another fastball.
He does, and it's hit into right field. Charging in, Kenny Williams, and he plays it in front of him. No way to catch it, so Williams just wanted to make contact and keep the ball in front. That holds Parker at first base with 2 down. And a pretty good streak by Wells. He had retired 14 straight.
he had, and he showed the fastball in and then just got it out over the plate a little bit. See the difference here? That's a fastball right down the middle. Dave Parker mentioned how he's a 300 hitter. Look how he shortens his stroke here. The ball's right down the middle of the plate. And that's the difference in hitting the ball solidly and not hitting the ball hard.
You saw that right hand come off. Walt Riniak would have loved that swing.
But I've seen Dave do that his whole career. When he gets 2 strikes, he thinks get the bat on the ball. And that's the adjustment that I've not seen Joe Carter make. Not to hammer on Joe Carter. He's a tremendous RBI guy and home run hitter, but a lot of guys make adjustments, and that's why Parker has hit 300 so many times in his career.
DH of the year in the American League 2 consecutive years. While Carter's gone from Cleveland to San Diego and here to Toronto. Dave Winfield, the tying run, 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly ball. Parker at first, 2 down. Off the end of the bat. Wells really changed speeds on him, and the Angels are gone in the 6th. They've stranded 4, and after 5.5, down by 2. Night falls over Toronto. ESPN's Friday Night Baseball from the Skydome. And the Blue Jays with that 3 spot in the 2nd, leading all the way. Ed Sprague leads off against Langston in the bottom of the 6th inning. Looks at 1 down low. Ed Sprague walked and scored in the 2nd. Grounded to short in the 4th. And he pops one up. Right side. Donnie Hill. Run out and back to John Saunders.
Pirates and the Phillies, and the pitcher Bob Walk at the plate sends it the opposite way. It squirts through for the hit. Jose Lean was on first. He heads around to third, stops there. The throw comes into second, so Lean says, I'm coming in. Comes in and scores under the tag. It's 5-1 in the 6th. Bottom right.
Pirates have won 6 straight as they take on the Phils tonight in the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pat Borders takes a breaking ball down low. Langston misses up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Mark Langston just hoping that he can keep this one close so his teammates can bust out the way they have during his 5-game winning streak. Hit past the mound, but that's where Soho had him playing. 2 quick outs.
Well, Mark Langston, like most power pitchers, getting stronger as the game goes on. In the last 2 seasons, he's completed 55 of his 67 starts. He is a closer. He finishes most everything out there. He led the American League in complete games in 87 and again in 86 and again in 87.
Kenny Williams stepping in. That's our doubleheader game tonight. Reds at L.A. Tom Browning, 6-3 for Cincinnati. Bobby Ojeda, 3-4 for the Dodgers. Steve Physiak and Dave Campbell will call it for you later tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And if you're planning on having some snacks for that game, line it up before the game because you might miss something. Those 2 pitched a game last year in Cincinnati, 1 hour, 59 minutes when Ojeda was with the Mets. So be ready for things to happen fast in the nightcap of our doubleheader tonight. Kenny Williams has worked the count to 3-0. He has doubled and walked tonight. He was pumping. Problem is, it goes straight up. Soho and Schofield and the shortstop will make the call. Easy 6th inning for Langston. He's retired 6 in a row to the 7th. Still 3-1.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Lennox. When it comes to quality in heating and cooling, must be a Lennox. By Seagram's Wine Coolers. New tropical selection. 4 luscious flavors. Only from Seagram's Coolers. And by Drylock, the masonry waterproofer that's guaranteed to stop water.
Blue Jays flying high at home tonight, leading by 2 after 6. They've out-hit the Angels 6-3. California leads off with ex-Blue Jay Junior Felix, followed by Lance Parrish and Donnie Hill in the 7th inning against David Wells. He's given up 1 hit since the 2nd inning. And look at the economy. after that long 33-pitch first inning.
That is something. Mentioned power pitchers getting stronger as the game goes on. They're having trouble with his control early in the first. Only 7 pitches in the third inning.
Felix is 1 for 3 after 2 strikeouts up the middle, and here's John Saunders.
Mariners and the Rangers in Texas after reeling off that winning streak have lost 3 in a row. Third inning, though, Scott Bankhead just came off the DL to Mario Diaz, his first of the year. And Texas back on track, at least early, up 3-1. Back to Bob and Ray.
Well, that's really a tough lineup if Diaz, who had no homers coming in, starts to hit the ball out of the ballpark. What to do about the Rangers, but they've lost 3 in a row, and they're a game back of Oakland entering tonight's action. At last report, it was still raining in Chicago, where the A's were to play the White Sox. Lance Parrish 1 for 2 tonight with his only career hit off David Wells. Hit the ball well his last time up, though, but Devon White loped after it in center field. Oh, they got him. He must have come off the bag. We're going to have an argument about this one. Bruce Hines and now Doug Rader out of the dugout. Felix appeared to be back in safely.
Well, Al Clark made a fatal mistake there when Doug Rader said something to him. He says, "I don't think so." And then Doug Rader just became irate. I read his lips. He said, "I don't think so."
Clark trying to walk away. Rader gets the chest in front of him and stops him cold. Rather embarrassing night for Felix. 2 strikeouts, then he singles, and then picked off. Boy, he has changed since Texas.
I have never seen that. I hear people talk about I've never seen that. I have never seen a manager come off the field laughing. Wait a minute.
0-1 to Parrish, who takes one up and away.
Something had to happen. Did he stumble or something coming across the line? Or I know Doug's crazy, but he ain't that crazy, is he?
Well, Wells continues to pad his numbers of runners he catches stealing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wells with a record of 5 and 4. Parrish was hitting only .216 coming in. Didn't hit much better against the Blue Jays last year, but he hit for power. There's a changeup for strikeout number 8. John Saunders, David Wells looks tough tonight.
Ramon Garcia, though, for the White Sox, not looking quite as tough. That's Mike Gallego, and the bases were full. 2nd home run of the year, 1st grand slam ever. Baines, McGuire, and Weiss aboard. 4-0 in the 2nd. Back to Bob and Ray.
It should have kept raining at Comiskey. David Wells has just tied his season high with 8 strikeouts. He's got a long way to go the way he's throwing. Remember the pitch count. Matt Borders must feel like he's driving a car that's in 5th gear. He's just wheeling down the freeway now with Wells providing the power. No balls, 1 strike to count. Donnie Hill has grounded to the pitcher and struck out swinging.
When you look at 2 pitchers, these Langston and Wells are very much alike. Fastball, curveball, changeup. No sliders, no split fingers. When you look at them, except for the difference in the weight, Wells being a little chunkier, they throw about the same type pitches. We've had Langston once tonight, 95 on the gun. He averages about 91, 92. Wells has been in the high 80s and the low 90s.
2-1 fastball popped up near the seats. Plenty of room for Pat Tabler. Another easy inning. 7th inning stretch time at Skydome. Jays 3, Angels 1. Another big crowd on ESPN's Friday Night Baseball from the Skydome in Toronto. Fans are settling back into their seats, and they're enjoying a good old-fashioned pitching duel now. All the scoring early. Mark Langston takes on Manuel Lee. 7th inning underway with ball 1. Manuel came in hitting .279. He's added 2 RBIs and a bunch of points to his batting stats tonight. There was talk early in the season here. It's almost as if the local press expected Manny to fail. We're talking about the Blue Jays going out and getting Ozzie Smith for shortstop. Really no talk like that around here since about the 1st of May. He's settled in very nicely at short, working well with the young Alomar. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and he took it right back from where it came. Manuel Lee, 3 for 3. Came into that at bat hitting .285, Ray, so he's on his way to 300.
We see him stay with this breaking ball, and this is what you do with a breaking ball. You don't try to pull it. You just stay right there. Let the ball come to you at home plate. You don't go out and get those breaking balls unless they're down and in. Ball out over the plate. You hit it right about the front part of the plate. Drive it right back up the middle.
Lee can run a bit. We'll see if Cito Gaston plays for another run here as we enter the late innings. And with his bullpen, a 2 or 3 run lead is usually enough. Breaking ball in there to Glenn Allen Hill.
Glenn Allen really giving away on that left side. Gene Tennis had him hitting out here for about 35 minutes. Probably hit 100 balls. Mentioned Pat Borders moving up in the plate. This man also is just really having a tough time keeping that left side in, and this is a left-handed pitcher he's facing. You can see a guy giving way when there's a right-hander, especially if he drops down a little bit. When you're facing a left-hander and you do that,
fastball jammed in. 0-2. And when you're doing bad things at the plate, every time you look up at the scoreboard, you're in the hole 0-2, 1-2.
It's going to be very difficult for him to keep the ball fair. When you turn off like that, your bat barrel gets out front, you bring it forward with your hands, your shoulder pulls off, and you hit. When you do hit the ball hard, you hit it foul. They got him last time on the fastball inside 1 and 2. Langston starts him the 2 pitches in, then goes away with a fastball. Odds are he's going to try to bust him inside again. He has 1 of 2 choices here. He's going to go backdoor breaking ball and come inside with a fastball.
1-2 pitch, fastball up and away. And Langston with his 3rd strikeout.
Mark's throwing the ball extremely well. Fastball up in the strike zone. Just one of those pitches that he wastes. That's really a waste pitch. He hopes that Glenn Allen Hill swings at it. He's showing him something that looks good to him, but when you're throwing it at 95 miles an hour, it's tough to get the bat on the ball.
Back to the top of the order, 4th at bat for Devon White. You know, you look at a pitch like that. This one is a bad pitch, and we're going to have a runner all the way over to 3rd base. Lee over there, and the throw comes in to hold him at 3rd with 1 out. The problems between Langston and his irregular first baseman with Wally Joyner on the bench, Donnie Hill, continue.
Mark again just goes over there, routine move, throws the ball behind him. Now that's not the first baseman's fault. That is one of the most difficult plays, having played first base for 3 years in the big leagues. The first play Donnie Hill should have definitely had. That second play, very tough to anticipate it. Third base coach is waving him home. Look at tennis there. Rich Hacker.
Well, I think Hacker wanted him to come around third aggressively, maybe force a mistake. There's no way he could send him with one out.
Once you start waving that arm like that, Bobby, you're going. There's no way that he can stop you once you wave that arm like that. What happened, he saw Manny Lee starting to slow up, and he thinks that Manny Lee could have scored. He wanted to force the play, but you don't do it with one out. You're absolutely correct. That they tell you to run, and when they've got that arm coming, you're going full tilt. But it's very difficult to stop in the position that Hacker was. If he's going to stop him, he has to be more down toward home plate.
1 ball, 1 strike to Devon White. Well, coaches are going to be a little more aggressive when they come over from St. Louis.
Yes, they are.
That's where Rich was with the Cardinals last couple of seasons.
And that explains a lot what we talked about in our open, this being a National League type ball club, running and sacrificing and being aggressive. Because that man under Whitey Herzog was very aggressive.
2-1. And this one well hit to left field. Goodbye. Devon White with his first of the year. Langston gives up his 7th home run this season, and it's 5-1 Toronto. Breaking ball in there to Alomar. RBIs coming from unlikely sources tonight. 2 for Devon White, 1 for Kenny Williams, 2 from Manuel Lee. One ball, 2 strikes to Alomar. 1 out in the 7th, and now it's really going to be tough for the Angels with Dwayne Ward, Tom Hankey staring them in the face. There's a little liner on a short hop. Soho, 2 down. And with 2 outs, back to John Saunders.
Twins and the Royals and Kevin Seitz are just back into the lineup. Gets his single off the glove of Tapani. He knocks it out into left field. Jim Eisenreich comes in to score. Kansas City on the board against Minnesota. They have the lead, 3-1. Let's get it back to you.
And they're in the middle innings, John, with Brett Saberhagen on the hill tonight. Saberhagen 5-3 coming in for KC. Royals are a game back of the White Sox, 2 back of the Twins at the bottom of the Western Division. So that series may shuffle things a bit. Joe Carter is the hitter with no balls, 1 strike, bases empty, 2 out. Well, this is what it's all about, Ray. You've got a couple of power hitters slumping. 1 not even in the lineup tonight, so the little guys pick things up.
Well, you're right, Bob. And one thing about Devon White, he hit 24 home runs back in 1987. He was one of those guys I mentioned in the open with the ability to hit 20 home runs. He's only hit 11, 12, and 11 the last couple of years, last 3 years, but he's been primarily a leadoff hitter for the Angels. Then they moved him back down the order. His big problem is making contact. He struck out over 120 times the last 3 years. If he makes contact, as big and strong as he is, he's 6'2", says 172 in the guy, but he's bulked up about 195, so he has that power to hit home runs.
Carter hits a fly ball the other way, fairly deep, Winfield, near the track, and he has it. But a hit, a walk, rather an error, and the homer. And it's 5-1 Jays after 7. Friday Night Baseball from the Skydome in Toronto. 5-1 Jays after 7. Bob Carpenter back with Ray Knight. David Wells has never pitched a complete game in the big leagues. Does Cito Gaston even consider that, given the bullpen that he has?
Well, I think he considers it. It depends on the pitch count, but he's had 35 starts. He always was a reliever. But with Hinkie and Dwayne Ward out there in the bullpen, you have to think about that, and I doubt if he'll go with him all the way.
Ward and Hinkey, 17 saves between them, but David Wells keeps on rolling. Schofield gone, 8th inning underway.
Tell you what, if they keep swinging at the first pitch, usually goes a pitch count. A guy like Dave Wells throws a lot of pitches. Power pitchers normally do. But he's just breezing along so easily now with this 4-run lead. With Ward and Hinkey both working last night, it might be one of those times to go ahead and let him go. Got that great command of the fastball and the breaking ball, as you see right there.
Luis Polonia started the night in good fashion with a double and scored, struck out, and then was gunned out on a great play by Alomar as he was trying to bunt his way aboard back in the 5th inning. This pitch was up high, and it's rammed into right center. Williams chasing it. It one hops and goes over the wall for a ground rule double. That's a ball that's at least a triple for Polonia if it hits the wall and stays in play. Polonia with his second 2-bagger of the night.
Fastball up in the strike zone. Most left-handed hitters like the ball down. Again, right over the inside part of the plate. One ball on the inside part of the plate. Williams giving every effort that he has, but the ball is just jolted out there. Darren Johnson talking about how Polonia is just stinging the ball, hitting the ball so hard for a little man. Not hitting a lot of home runs, but a lot of doubles and triples.
Luis Sojo, the hitter, and fisted, he fouls one back.
And that shows me something there. Wells throws a fastball that gets ripped, comes right back with the fastball to the next hitter. .59 strikes, 42 balls, 101 total. The last pitch, 93 miles an hour.
That's not exceptional control. Only 17 more strikes than balls, but he's getting people out with the runner going to the shortstop. Manny Lee guns out Sojo and Polonia over to third with 2 down.
Well, it's funny because it doesn't seem like to me that he's struggling going into too many counts deep. Seemed like all night long he's been right around the plate. Hitters swinging, a lot of foul balls, and a lot of times pitch counts will belie the fact that you have a lot of foul balls and a lot of pitches that are just off the plate.
Well, this will be a big at bat because Gaetti takes on Wells. You know, Cito may like to have a complete game tonight. Dave Stieb is scheduled to throw tomorrow. Missed a start on Tuesday because of shoulder tendonitis. If Stieb cannot go, they may have to dip into the bullpen and start Willie Frazier tomorrow, the former Angel. Scott Lewis will throw for California tomorrow, and then Sunday in the series finale, Jim Abbott and Jim Acker. This is interesting. Toronto might throw 3 relief pitchers as starters this weekend if Stieb cannot go tomorrow. But Cito Gaston never looks too concerned about anything, does he?
No, he really doesn't. And I think he reflects his ball club. And he has the upbeat attitude, but he never seems to panic.
Gaetti chops it. Sprague. And they're out of the inning. The 1-out double doesn't hurt. Angels have stranded 5 to the bottom of the 8th. 5-1 Jays. Usual there, all 3 of those ball clubs featuring those players doing fairly well. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-1 Blue Jays, and Mark Langston is done for the night. 5 runs on 8 hits in 7 innings, and right-hander Jeff Robinson takes over.
30 years old, 6 feet 4, 200 pounds, sinker, slider, slow curve, and forkball. Played with the San Francisco Giants, the Pirates, and the Yankees last year, where he started and relieved.
And ironically, originally selected by the Blue Jays in the 17th round of the free agent draft 12 years ago.
Very impressive numbers. 14 hits in 24 innings. That's due to that split finger, which he picked up from Roger Craig when he was there in San Francisco.
As all do who seem to throw out there. Pat Tabler. Grounder, fly to center, and a foul out. 0 for 3. And he rocks one through the hole. 1 for 4. Tabler aboard. Sprague to follow.
Well, you talked about it earlier. He was 0 for 3 against the left-hander, and they bring the right-hander in there, and he gets his base hit.
So what do they do when they platoon? Hit Olerud against lefties and Tabler against right-handers? I don't know.
I don't believe they're going to platoon John Olerud. I'll tell you what.
Not after he starts hitting. Here's Sprague. And the fastball pours in, strike one. This Angel pitching staff is a formidable one. The bullpen looks good with Robinson doing a nice job. Mark Eichhorn, the former Blue Jay. 3 lefties, Cliff Young, Bob McClure, and Scott Bales, who made the club in spring training. And then, of course, the closer, Brian Harvey, with 12 saves already. But, Ray, their starting staff is the story. You got guys like Langston, Finley, and then another left-hander like Abbott. And those guys don't have to be perfect to win. This is a ball club that should not be too susceptible to long losing streaks because of their staff.
Well, you mentioned those guys in Kirk McCaskill. Fernando Valenzuela down there somewhere in the minor leagues, bouncing around. Different cities. Midland, yeah.
Fernando will throw again this weekend. There is conjecture that Doug Rader and company might have him start in Anaheim a week from Sunday if the rotation worked out that way. Up the middle to his left, Schofield for the force. The relay is a little bit late, but an outstanding play by Schofield to get Tabler the lead runner. And he's shaken up a bit. Looked like he stubbed his hand or his thumb on the turf.
Split finger hit right off the end of the bat from Sprague. Schofield making a tremendous play and then finding that ball. Soho still going ahead and trying to turn it.
You know what's the hardest thing about that play? Getting the ball out of your glove when you're laying on top of it.
It is. You have all your weight on your chest. Your hands are sprawled. It is really hard to do that.
And you've just stubbed your finger that's sticking out of the glove. Pat Borders is the hitter. Pat with a single, a run scored, and 3 trips. Well, the Red Sox are winning handily at Fenway tonight, so the Blue Jays will have to hold on here to stay in that tie for first. Each team 5 above 500 coming in. Angels are 6 above 500, but in the West, that's only good for a 2-game deficit. And Oakland, at last report, was winning at Chicago. They could be 3 down at the end of the night.
Pat Borders hit a fastball off the split finger off the end of his bat, just as Ed Sprague does. Then he's looking for the split finger. Watch this swing. This is on a fastball. Talking about ugly.
Whoop, there goes the split finger pitch, and there goes Pat Borders. 2 outs, and back to John Saunders.
Back to Fenway Park, the Orioles and the Red Sox. 7th inning, Tom Brunansky at the plate, driving in runs this year. Pulls it through the hole. Orsulak is coming home, but watch the slide by Reed. Waits, gets the hand in there. He's safe. It's 7-2 in the 8th. Back to Bob and Ray.
Tom Brunansky with a big night, came in tied with Yount, Sierra, and Gonzalez with 33 RBIs, and he's got a handful there again. Felix under the Kenny Williams fly ball. 8th inning is over. Javes is stranded 5, but they lead by 4 to the 9th. We go. 5-1 Blue Jays in front of 50,000. 252 here tonight on ESPN's Friday Night Baseball. Bob Carpenter with Ray Knight. 9th inning. Angels have to get busy. They haven't scored since the 1st inning, and Parker leads off. To be followed by Winfield and Felix. Dave with a single his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night. David Wells doesn't really know how to act being out there for the 9th inning. As a reliever, he wasn't out there for the 9th inning much either. Not with Hanky and Warren on this club. 2-0 pitch. Ball 3. And he's saying, oh, don't let me walk the leadoff man, because that'll mean Hinkie will get up. Wells now has surpassed his longest outings of the year. Twice he's gone 8 innings, both of those this month. So he's closing May out in fine fashion.
We saw Hinkie get up in the bullpen right after the 8th inning was over, so he is ready.
3-1 pitch. And a back full as Parker bounces one to his own dugout.
And if Wells gets in any type of trouble here, he'll be in here in a hurry.
Parker steps on. David Wells became a starter last year in early May when Mike Flanagan was released. And in 25 starts, he went 10-5. That's when they found something out about this left-hander. Parker hits one way upstairs. And Manuel Lee has it for the first out. The story of this game tonight, just outstanding pitching right from the start, especially for the home team. Not some bad hitting either. Manuel Lee 3 for 3 with a couple of RBIs, but David Wells, the star tonight. Into the 9th he's gone with 8 strikeouts, and Devon White chipped in with 2 RBIs on his first homer of the year back in the 7th. Angels quiet since the first inning. Dave Winfield, the hitter.
Bobby, I was talking about Dave Winfield, and we talked to him a little bit before the game, how great a player this man is. He's 39 years old, been around a long time, but on the home run list, he now ranks 26th. On the extra base hit list, he ranks 27th. Just ahead of him, Joe DiMaggio, Duke Snyder, Al Simmons, Roger Hornsby. Pretty good names.
Fisted that time. Pat Tabler. 2 down, and Wells continues to make it look easy. Since the first inning when he was touched for 1 run on 1 hit, he's given the Angels a grand total of 4 hits. All of those singles except for Luis Polonia's 8th inning double. How well has he pitched tonight? The Angels have only stranded 5 runners. There's not that many on base. And he's after his first complete game since his minor league days. Junior Felix 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a pickoff. Takes ball 1. Ahead of that one. Breaking ball, yes, and he's 1 strike away on a staff that had the major league's low incomplete games last year. 6. Toronto this season looking for number 3.
Well, that's nasty. Throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, comes back with a yellow hammer.
And it's over. That will be a baseball to keep for David Wells. His first career complete game. A 5-hitter as he beats the Angels and Mark Langston, who 5-hit Toronto last week.
I'll tell you one thing. With Steve Stottlemyre, Jimmy Key, and now with Wells pitching, this team is going to be tough on the Boston Red Sox.
He fans a career-high 9 as well. Cito Gaston, happy 2nd anniversary to him on his managerial status. And for Ray Knight, Bob Carpenter. That's it from the Skydome. 5-1 Jays, John Saunders. That's it from here.